At the age of 15, I was in a relationship and I was abused. It seemed impossible for me to forgive him and also for me to start loving myself again. I started to hate him, and not only just hated him, I also started to hate myself. I didn't like who I was, I didn't know who I was, I didn't have an identity. And because of that, I started to have suicidal thoughts, and I began to change the outside appearance because I did not like what I saw in the mirror. So I began to shave my hair, and I also started to starve myself. And through this, I became more and more closed. I became very defensive, moody. Even at home, I wasn't a good role model at home. My relationship with my mother went from bad to worse. I started to blame her for what happened to me as well. And then after coming to the church, coming to the meetings and services, I learned how to build a relationship with God. And when learning to build a relationship with God, I learned how to love God. And after that, I started to learn how to love myself. The more I began to love God, the more I began to love myself and who I was. After 4 years, I managed to forgive him and also to start loving myself. And today I'm happy.
Hello and welcome to this evening's Finding Answer. Now our topic tonight is life on the edge. And what we mean by that is your life on a knife edge? So if one more thing happens, will it slip and that will be the end of it? Now, living life on the edge can be extremely exhausting. It could be money worries, or maybe you're waiting for some test results. So is there anything that you can do to maybe get rid of your problems, or are you absolutely stuck? Here's a short video explaining the topic in more detail.
With economic worries, unemployment or health issues, many people may be feeling that they are living life on the edge. They may be feeling that if they have to experience one more problem, then they may have a breakdown or even consider suicide. When our health, wealth and sanity lay on the line, do we jump in feet first or stand back and consider the consequences? To be living on a knife's edge also means that people are in a difficult situation and are worried about what will happen in the future. It's a balance between success and failure. It can be a very tense time. Psychologists have developed an anxiety scale with worry and mild concern at one end of the spectrum, progressing through anxiety to fear and blind panic at the other. Having to live on the edge may mean that you are experiencing helplessness, overstimulation, incongruity and unpredictability. Feeling constantly on edge will also mean experiencing jumpiness, having heightened senses and always looking out for danger, with your muscles being tensed just in case physical action is required. Clearly, constantly being in this state will take its toll on your physical well-being and could lead to things like depression. But talking to someone will help you express your feelings, as well as helping you to organise your own thoughts. You don't have to be on your own, and you don't have to be living life on the edge.
Now, tonight, as Victoria explained, we're talking about living life on the edge. Now, that can be at some point in life, a lot of things can start going on top of you, problems after problem. Sometimes you've reached a point where you can't take any more weight, you can't take any more pressure, you can't take any more problems. And sometimes there's that one problem that can just tip you over the edge. you're at breaking point. It's like the weight you put on a shelf, and then you see that the shelf starts to bend, and before it breaks, it starts to bend because the weight is just too much. And maybe you feel like that. Maybe you feel like the weight of the problems that are coming against you are so many. You feel this pressure, and you think if just one more unexpected problem, one more unexpected issue comes up, it might be too much. And I'm not an expert on this field, but I imagine that this is perhaps what causes people to have a nervous breakdown. Would you say, is that what happens?
Yeah, that's exactly it. There's just so much that's coming through and there's no let up. So it's just problem after problem, or it could be just one huge problem. And what can happen is you just give up. So you may wake up one day and you're unable to get out of bed, you feel sick, maybe your eyesight goes, that's a common one, you start to see blurred vision, and yeah, basically your body just gives up and says no more.
And it's important to mention as well, Victoria, that what for some people is perceived to be a small problem, for others is something really huge, it's massive, it's devastating. And we can't judge problems equally among people, because some people, some things affect them more than others. There are people that if they're in a relationship and they're betrayed, they don't really care that much because they say, well, it's their loss, I'll just move on. While there are others who, when they are cheated on, when they're betrayed, they feel like they're not good enough, they feel like they've done something wrong, even though it may not have been their fault. So problems affect people in different ways. The truth is that there are times when things get too much. They get too much, the weight on your shoulders is just too much to bear, and you don't know what to do anymore. Perhaps you feel like you are on the verge of a breakdown. Perhaps you've had a breakdown. You know exactly what your limits are. You know what your threshold of pain, your threshold of pressure is, and you just feel you're reaching that point again. Or for the first time, you're about to reach that point. And I was just thinking here, and I'm going to go to Victoria again. You know, there are pressures that people have that may not necessarily be physical pressures, lack of money or, sickness, but there are pressures that are mental pressures, things that people may even think, how can this be a problem for you? But sometimes those problems are even worse because it's like they oppress you so much that you can't see a way out, right?
Yeah, and I did know somebody who started a new career, and they got some very good news and they had a job promotion, and everybody thought, that's great, that's really good. But the pressure was too much, and actually that person did commit suicide. So it's unbelievable the way that different people find some things a problem, a pressure, and other people would just think that that was a positive thing and they'd go with it. So you really can't judge, and you certainly shouldn't feel bad if you're finding something too much and other people wouldn't find it a problem. We're all individual.
Yeah, and this example that Victoria just gave now is quite important, because what for some people may seem as a blessing, for others they may feel it's a curse. And again, we can't judge you. So the one thing I want you to think about your life right now is that if you feel at this exact moment like you cannot take on the pressure that is on your shoulders right now, you can't keep going anymore counting the coins that you have left so that your child can have pocket money tomorrow. And I remember this because my mom used to have this problem. I remember my mom, sometimes she had to choose between giving me the bus fare to go to school or giving me money to buy food. And sometimes it was either or. Sometimes I would have to walk 2 hours to school because otherwise I wouldn't have money to eat. And I could see the pressure on her. Probably one of the reasons why she had a nervous breakdown. And perhaps you feel like that. Perhaps you feel that even though you have a family around you and they love you, they support you, you don't feel supported. And you know it's not the case. You know that they love you, but they don't have the answers for you, because sometimes hearing from someone it's going to be okay, that's not the answer you're looking for. You want a solution. Perhaps your solution is not tangible. Maybe if someone asks you what's putting pressure on you, you don't know. I mean, you hear about movie stars all the time who have health, money, fame, and you ask them, what more could you want? For example, we heard of Robin Williams, who recently committed suicide. It was just, I think the result of the autopsy just came out, and it was deemed as an act of suicide. I mean, what could have led him to do that? Apparently he had everything that many people want. You know, he was a funny guy, he had money, he had fame, he was loved by many people. So what drove him to that breaking point? What drove him to tip over the edge? What is currently driving you right now to feel like you're tipping over the edge? You know, sometimes you're about to fall and all you need is for someone to grab you, to pull you back. And I believe we can be this person. I believe we can be the one to pull you back and to relieve the stress. Not us, but the God we believe in, the God we serve, the living God we serve. He can do this for you. If you are stressed, if you're lost, if you feel like you're on the edge about to fall and you need help, then I want you to get in contact with us right now. No matter what you're doing, stop that right now. If you were about to go out, whatever, stop what you're doing right now and get in touch. The telephone number is 020-7686-6300. That's 020-7686-6300. Take note of that number. And you can call throughout this whole show or send us an email to help@findinganswers.tv. Victoria will be reading your emails once they come through. No matter your situation, we're going to be here to help you. If you want to get in contact with us via Facebook or Twitter, here's how you can do that.
So you can send us a tweet, just start your tweet with @FindAnswersTV, or search for us on Facebook, just look for Finding Answers.
We'll be right back after this break.
How do you heal the wounds of a broken soul? Let us help you.
Now, in a few moments, I'll be introducing you to Desmarie, who at one point in her life was living on the edge. And she'll be explaining to you what she went through and also her recovery from all the turmoil that she was in. But before that, we haven't heard from the opinions of the people of London about the topics of our program. Here's what they had to say. We have the questions of the street of London back, and here's what they had to say.
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And
I think you can have as many friends and family as you want. It just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
With Christmas fast approaching, many are hitting the shops, especially here on Oxford Circus. But with unemployment, health issues and bad economics, many people are feeling like they're living life on the edge. So I'm here on the streets finding out the public's opinions. So what would you consider living life on the edge to be? And do you think that this is a mindset?
I think not always. In some places it is a mindset where actually the economy is good and everything, and in some places it's not. You can't choose because the economy is breaking down, so you have to live from day to day. And so I think it depends on the situation if you can choose it or not. In some places you can, in some places you can't. So it depends.
In your opinion, what do you think can be done to help this?
To help what? What do you mean?
So like people that are in situations where they feel like they're living their life on the edge, like they have no other options.
If there is a possibility, the state can help out with social, social payments, and maybe you should adjust the taxes from the richest and the poor, so you can adjust them. So it's not. I don't know how it works here, but there is a pauschal payment for rich people in Switzerland, where I'm from, and I think it's in England also like this. It's not percentage to the amount of how much they earn. Like they don't have to pay 20% or 30%. They just say, all right, I give you 500,000 and you will be all right with this. So it's yes or no. And I think this should be changed so you can adjust this, and you're going to have more money in the circulation, and it can get more. Get away from the richest to the poor. So this kind of thinking.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood thinking, yeah.
It's a hard question to answer. But for the health and everything, yeah, the government must help, the people, But the other, work, everything, people need to, go out and look, for something, That's my opinion.
I think it's a mindset, how you think about your life as well.
I think people get sort of trapped in a cycle as well, though, that they need to be helped out of. So it's a mindset they think they can't get out of it, and they get trapped in that cycle.
Yeah, and I think it's as well like a society thing, like how much you actually need. Some people think they need more than actually, I don't know, you need not so much. You don't need so many clothes, you don't need so many, full...
The things you actually need are just food and drink and shelter.
And love.
You don't.
Yeah.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
It's interesting that I disagree with what most people there on the street said, because they said that, living on the edge, it's because, the government, or you need to do more to help the poor, or it's a mindset. The truth is, it's nothing to do with the government, because there are people who have money and yet they live on the edge. And we're going to talk now. I want to introduce you to Desmarie, because we've spoken for a while now, and this program is about the people who come here to share their stories. So, Desmarie, good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for being on the program.
You're welcome. It's fine.
Was there a point in your life where you lived on the edge?
Of course, yes.
Tell us about that. Where did your problems begin?
I could say it began when I was about 15 years old. Basically, I've been living life on the edge for quite a while, where I experienced a lot of problems in practically every area of my life. Financially, when it comes on to relationship and stuff like that, it was really, really difficult throughout, like from that age. And people might think, okay, you're too young to, you know, be on the edge. But yes, I was living.
So what was happening? You mentioned quite a few things there, financial problems, relationships. Where did the problem start?
As I said, when I was really young, when it comes on to, for example, knowing that you have the potential to be further in life when it comes on to, especially if you know you're not so much off, if I can use this word, a div, you're not dumb, but you see yourself as a clever person and you think you could, you know, excel further in certain area of your life, especially when it comes on to education or getting a career. But I always see myself being pushed back by either, okay, because this one person think, okay, you can't make it, you understand? Or you're not fit enough, or you're not good enough. Let me put you in a lower set, you understand? So from there.
What were the things that would put pressure on you?
From that time, to tell the truth, I've been having family problems, you know, arguments at home, sort of, when you're told to do a certain thing and you know that's not you. So in a sense, it's more like family pressure, what they expect you to do, but in the same time, it's more like, okay, I'm this person and this is what I want to do. You know, so it's from school to home, you know, doing accordingly to what other people think you should be doing. It's more like wanting to suffocate me in a certain, I don't know, a little box, I could actually say. It's like I've been placed in a little box, programmed to do, okay, you should be doing this, you should be at this level, you should be at that level, when really for fact, I'm not even that person. I want to express myself, I want to do more, I want to achieve a little bit more. So in a sense, it kind of put pressure on me. Along with that, then I had other issues. I mean, coming from a different country as well, like I had immigration problem. There again, there was a restriction, you know what I mean? So it didn't give me the right to do certain things, to go forward. So it really, for fact, I was...
With the immigration problems, I mean, because immigration is a big issue now in the UK, right? People say that we need to have stricter laws for immigration, so on. But that aside, having an immigration problem, how tough was it for you? What couldn't you do and how did that affect you?
My gosh, it affected me a lot.
Could you work?
No, I couldn't work. I couldn't work. I could go only to a certain level when it comes on to education as well, as I was saying. I would start a course and I couldn't finish. Why? Because there'll be a point in time where the college would actually ask you, okay, where is your passport? Where is this? Where is that? And I couldn't have that I didn't have it to give, basically. So in a sense, and then because I was a little bit fearful as well, it was hard for me to express, to say, okay, let me go forward and go to the principal, go to someone who is much higher than the admin section, and maybe tell them in confidence, okay, this is what I'm facing. Could you, you know? So instead I had to stop.
So in a way, it's like your life was stuck. You couldn't go past a certain level because of your immigration issues. Financially, how strict, how bad were things financially for you?
Boy, it was really bad.
I want you to give people at home a picture of how bad things were for you financially, how bad they truly were. I want you to describe to them a day in your life at that time financially.
Okay, at the age of, I'm going to go again with age, I can remember at the age of 17, about 16, 17, just about to leave sixth form college. And I was actually, at this point, I was out of college because I had to stop because of that. And I remember not having, like basically being kicked out from home. Therefore, I had no place to go. I had to go and sleep at other people's house. A friend of mine, I could even meet the person 1 week. I would go and stay with her because I've been kicked out, no job, obviously. I can't go out there to look a job. And therefore, it led me to actually stick with a relationship that I didn't want to.
So you were in a relationship because you needed someone.
Yeah, that was my way out. That was my...
So it wasn't because you loved this person and you wanted to be with them. It was, you had no other option.
I had no other option.
In a way that's, I hope you're not offended with what I'm going to say, but in a way that's degrading. because that's not what you look for in a relationship. So you were with this person because you needed to be with him. How was that relationship?
To the truth, I wouldn't say, okay, because you wouldn't get into a relation. For me at the time, of course, I was attracted to the person, you know, and I think it wasn't instant, but it's over time. The fact that he was there, and over time I kept, clinging and sticking there. But to tell the truth, it wasn't what I wanted at all. Because I was dating.
Were you unhappy in that relationship?
No, I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't happy, if you know what I mean. It wasn't my dream relationship, but at the same time, because financially I was good, this is why it wasn't the worst, if you understand, at
so
that
just
time.
because he was looking after you, you felt the pressure was off a little bit.
Yes, that's it.
What was the moment of your life that you had the most pressure, that you felt you were about to be tipped over the edge?
Okay, this was further on, about 4 or 5 years after having my little girl. About 5 years after having my little girl, and then it's like, you know, sometimes, I don't know if you've heard this term, you have to step on a cockroach's belly. I step on a cockroach to see the belly of the cockroach. I don't know if you've ever seen.
I never heard it, and I don't even know what that means. Let me go to Victoria. Have you heard this one before, Victoria? No.
No.
You have to explain this one to us.
Okay, it was in the point. It was in a time in which I had my little girl, and it's like I was dating another person. And it was like, if I didn't give birth, then I wouldn't see the side of my then partner.
Right.
So basically, when my child came along, then I actually see him for him, who he is. So right then, it was my lowest point, because then I get to find out he was married.
So you were with him, you didn't know he was married?
No, it was a total secret. Even though we were he was actually living at my house. We were basically living. I didn't know until the day I found out, okay, I was pregnant. Then I found out he was married, and it's like my life just went downhill from there. I remember making a vow as well, saying, though I'm dating few people, I've been in a relationship with 2 different people. They've never been married. And I always say to myself, I remember being on a break before I get into a relationship with this person, I said to myself, I made a vow, though these relationships are not working, I would never date a married person. And
you ended up with a married person?
Yes.
Because you didn't know any better?
Didn't know.
So when you found that out, what happened? He left, or he's...
When I found that out, I was destroyed, to tell the truth. I was totally upset. I didn't know what to do. There were so many things going on in my head. I didn't know if I should go or if I should stay. But at one point I remember, is this what you really wanted? You know? And then I had to be brave and I had to leave. I had to say, no, this is it. You have to go and I'll go my way.
Right.
So
and at that time you still had the immigration problems?
Still had immigration problems.
How were things financially
This was
for
the
you?
worst time, Pastor, because now I had to care for not only myself, but someone else.
How tight was money?
Oh, gosh. Money was so tight where I was living off £20. 20 quid a week.
A week?
A week.
For you and your daughter?
For me and my child.
What can you do? I'm sorry what I'm going to ask you, but how would you stretch those £20 for the whole week?
My gosh. First and foremost, let me just say, before getting into stretching the £20, just to say where I was living, again, it's like there was a cycle. I was at my sister's, then I was put out. My child was about 4 months or something like that. Then I had to, not even 4 months, about 3 months. Then I had to leave there to go again, to stay with another friend for maybe about 4 months again. Then I had to leave and go somewhere else. So it was more like a cycle. And with the £20, it had to be nappy, milk, nothing for me. Right. Nappy, milk, nothing for me. And that's how it goes.
Okay. Did you feel pressure when you were in that situation?
Totally. Totally pressured. Felt like I wanted to give up.
Okay, let me stop you there. If you're looking at me now, if you're watching this program, and you say, James, that's me. I'm living on £20 a week for me and for my children. I'm honest, hardworking, and I want to build an honest life in this country. I didn't come here to be a freeloader, but nobody gives me a chance. I want to give love and to receive love. but the people I meet only want to cheat on me, to use me, and to abuse me. Perhaps you are a photocopy of Desmarie's life right now, and you say, James, I'm about to be tipped over the edge. I look at these 20 pounds, I look at these coins that I have to survive myself and my family, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if tomorrow I'll buy nappies or if I buy milk. I deprive myself of eating so I can give to my children. And this is not a life I envision for myself. Perhaps you said, I never want to be with a married man. I want to build my own marriage. But you were deceived, cheated on. And you feel that your life that you wanted to be a dream is now a nightmare. If this is you, things can change. Get in touch with us right now. 020-7686-6300. 020-7686-6300, or send us an email to help@findinganswers.tv. We're going to go into a break. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, do so now. When we come back, we're going to hear how Desmarie put an end to the nightmare and she started to live the potential that she said she always believed she had, but she always felt something was holding her back. We'll be right back.
Uplifting.
Diverse. Vibrant. Dynamic.
Powerful. Youthful. Informative.
Energizing. Passionate.
Motivational. Freedom. Lively.
Excitement.
Hello and welcome to Love Talk.
And basically it was just to meet the in-laws and get their trust. And
well, myself.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yes,
I'm actually happy for you.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me, right? That's how
That's
they say.
a good one.
Run away from temptation. Run. Then run another one.
This is so serious.
There is the right kind of honesty and the wrong kind of honesty.
Many people say like this to me, oh, I'm a very private person. I don't like to share. But I have been like this as well. Until the day that I realized that if I didn't open up, I wouldn't be helped by anyone, and I needed help.
So today was my first time and I absolutely loved it.
Our thoughts really affect those three main areas, and for me, really being positive today was really just a big eye-opener on how positive changes will make such a big difference in all that I do. So yeah.
They break it down so you can work on it bit by bit, and then before you know it, you're closer to your goal.
You get what you give out.
Women need this. Women need a meeting like this.
So here's what we found out about Desmarie so far. She, at the lowest point, found out that she was living with a man who was already married, decided to stop that relationship, and of course, rightly so. And because of an immigration problem, because she couldn't work, she couldn't start a life, a career, she had to live on £20 a week for her and her daughter. Now, how did you find out about the church?
How did I find out about church? I first was introduced to the church like way before that time when I was pregnant and stuff. When I was about 19, someone spoke to me outside on the streets. Yeah, so that was the first time.
But then you didn't come to the church?
I didn't come, no.
Okay.
As usual, I didn't come back to the church. First time I attended, I didn't come back until at that point when I was really, really low.
But then what happened? You just remembered about the church, or someone spoke to you again?
Actually, to tell you the truth, I was spoken to on different occasions than my sister. My sister was the one who was going to the church. She was, could I say, evangelized on the streets as well in different times. And she kept on going. For me, I stopped. But because she was actually a part of the household, she was living there. And she continuously, attended.
She was speaking to you?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say no. She wasn't really speaking to me. But I've seen her getting ready, leaving. Right. Oh, you coming to church today? And I'll say, no, I'll be at home, well depressed, maybe after a party or so. But it was at that time when I was really, really low.
Hold on a second. How did you have money to go to parties if you only had £20 a week?
Oh, friends. We always have friends. There's always connections, you know.
Were you doing that to make you feel better? Or?
Of course. It's to take away the pain, to, in other words, kill time.
Okay. So you came to the church.
Yeah.
You didn't come when things were okay. You came when things were really bad, which is what most people usually do, including myself many years ago. So when you came, how did your life change? How did it happen?
Well, when I came, I wouldn't say, okay, it changed it overnight. No, because for me, because I thought I was so clever, know it all, I miss know it all. It's like for me, I had to sit there for a good 4 months or maybe even more, maybe 5 months to actually understand, like, does this make sense? I would sit there in the service and I would be hearing the messages and stuff and I'd be sitting there trying to justify everything. Okay, so Peter went through the window. I thought, okay, he could have gone through the door. You know, why did he have to run? He could have walked.
So you would question everything?
I would question everything.
So you wouldn't really be using your faith. So you were there, but you were there to maybe pick faults with everything.
Just to make myself feel better, basically.
So when did you say, okay, I need to stop this, I need help, and I need to be humble to accept help?
As time went by, being in the church and stuff, I was there and I was hearing the word. Also, I was hearing other people's testimonies. I was hearing how their lives been changed. I've been hearing how they've been achieving, you know. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe now is the time. Because really, for a fact, before coming to the church, I was doing things that I thought was good for me. Parties, relationship, but it wasn't working. So I thought to myself, why not? I thought to myself, if I've tried one thing and it didn't work, why not try something totally different? And I thought to myself, this is a moment for me.
So then you said, I'm going to throw myself into this head first.
Yes.
Right? When you started to use your faith, and how did things change? How is your life today compared to how it was before?
First and foremost, honestly, to tell the truth, I was hearing about Fridays, if I'll be honest. I was hearing about Friday services, and I usually attend Sundays, because that's my first day that I started off with. And then I started to hear about Friday services, and then I started to make chain of prayer on Fridays. And gradually, I started to see my life changing, gradually. And then I decided to take a leap of faith by saying, okay, my God, I'm going to give my life to you.
How is your life today?
Totally transformed.
Do you still live on £20 a week?
Not at all. No, totally transformed. Now I've got a qualification. You know, now I'm actually teaching English, so which is really good. For me, that's a total change, because before, it's like there was a barrier. I wanted to get through and I couldn't get, you know. But over time, my life has changed. Me and my little girl, we're not moving, sleeping here, there, everywhere. No. So
and the immigration problem is sorted out?
It's sorted out.
And thank God.
Thank God.
But I'll tell you why. I am of the opinion that anyone who wants a visa, a permanent stay, to get benefits, to live and sponge off the government, they shouldn't stay here. If you want to call and complain about what I just said and disagree, feel free. But I believe this is completely wrong. And people with this intention should not be given the freedom to be here and live off people like myself, like you now, because now you work, right? Yeah. Your intention was never to do this. Your intention was to have a career, to be a woman with dignity, to build a life. And you're doing that now. Yes. What about, this sadness you used to have, this emptiness you used to have? Is this gone as well?
Totally gone. I even forgot to even mention this. When I was going through all this motion, even before my child, I remember going to a doctor's with my eyes all red as if they were bleeding. And I thought, what's going on? And I went there and they were saying, you're stressed. But to me, I didn't seem as if I was stressed. But all of that is gone. Like this sadness, it was inside, but no one would know because outside I'm smiling. I'm always the happy-go-lucky one.
And all the pressure you had before, is that gone as well?
Totally gone.
That's great.
I'm free.
Thank you very much for being here, Desmarie. Now, if you want to receive a prayer, because a prayer, like she said, when she decided to say, look, I'm going to believe in this, I'm not going to question it anymore. I'm going to believe in it. What do I have to lose? Sometimes you put all these questions up in the air about God, about prayer, but you've got nothing to lose. You've tried everything else. Why not try that? Why not give it a real good go and see if this could change your life? If you want to take part of this prayer, in a few moments, myself and Pastor Abraham, who is actually the pastor who is there in your church now, right? In your area of North London, he will be here with me to pray for you who are going through a problem, whether similar or different from what Desmarie was going through before. We'll be right back.
What would you do if you had to protect a great treasure? If the answer is obvious when it comes to material wealth, it should be even more obvious when the treasure is greater: your marriage. In Bulletproof Marriage, the couple Renato and Cristiane Cardoso offer solid guidance to those who appreciate the value of their relationship and want to shield it against the risk of divorce. Besides their years of counselling thousands of couples, Renato and Cristiane present the hugely successful TV show The Love School, as well as marriage courses around the world. In over 2 decades, they have lived in 3 countries and have given hundreds of talks in more than 30 countries. Speaking from their long and sometimes troubled marriage experience, the couple offer practical tips to protect current and future relationships. To order your book online or for more information on the Love School event 2014, visit our site, theloveschoolevent.com. This event was brought to you by the UCKG Help Centre.
Welcome back. Now, we know that there are many people out there that are skeptics. They're skeptical about prayer, about God, about our own intentions here in this program. When we come here to pray for you, to help you, some people are very cynical and they think that, everybody has a hidden agenda. And, I think it's important to question if people really have an intention to help you or not, to question things in life. But there are things you have to say, I'm going to believe in this. For example, someone says to you, I love you. And the person keeps saying that to you. Perhaps you've been disappointed before, but you have to believe at some point that somebody loves you. It can't be that every person who comes to you and says, I love you is lying. Someone has to be genuine in what they're saying to you. And sometimes you have a chip on your shoulder about faith, about God, about all these things, and you live through life as a cynic, when actually perhaps if you were to use your faith and decide to believe in something, that could make a huge difference. Believing in something is not a negative thing. It's not a sign that you are uneducated. It's not a sign that you don't know, you're not a very intelligent person. On the opposite, faith is a sign that you believe you have a dependence on someone, that you don't know everything. I know some things. I don't know everything in life. I don't know, Pastor Abraham, good evening. Do you know everything in life?
No, I don't know
everything. You have all the answers?
No, of course
for
not.
For all of the world's questions?
No, not at all.
And having faith is believing that I may know a few things, I may have a few answers, but I'm subject to someone who knows everything. He has all the answers and he can solve the person's problem.
And James, as you were speaking, I was just thinking to myself that what really leads people to live on the edge is this mentality of coping with problems. No, I can cope. I can cope with problem in my family. I can cope with the problem in my financial life, with my health, and they start piling up until the moment that the person cannot cope anymore.
Yeah, it's like, for example, please, look, it's like this table. Look, I have a table here. Let's get the table in the shot. This table, when whoever designed this table, when they made it, this table was made to withstand a certain weight. So actually, when you buy even a car, I don't know if you know this, Pastor Abraham, you must know because sometimes I email the pastors, don't take too much weight on the car. Yes. Every car has a payload capacity. If the payload capacity is 2,000 kilos, which is never 2,000 kilos, is way less than that, then you cannot carry anything above that weight because something's going to happen. The car's going to break down, the suspension's going to go. And we are like this. Even you as a pastor, you have an ability to carry a certain amount of pressure. Anything above that will break you.
And James, the most important thing is to take this pressure to the one who can solve.
Exactly.
Because there is no reason why I should carry a heavy burden on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I just need to, it's a common sense. If I can carry the weight, so why should I carry that? I have to take to the one who can.
The problem is that some people carry the weight to the friend, right? Oh, Abraham, listen, I have this problem. Listen to my problem. And you listen. What can you do about my problem? You can't do anything.
And the problem is the friends already have. Is already carrying
with her own problems. It's true.
And then there is no solution. So Desmarie, the day that she said, no, I'm going to do something about it. Enough is enough. I'm gonna do what is right. You see that her life starts changing gradually.
Yeah.
Didn't change overnight. I'm not promise you that your life will change overnight, but you definitely change.
Yeah. And maybe you have this thing that you want to show that you're strong. No, James, I'm strong. I can take it. And the pressure is just piling up, like on this table. This table is made of glass. It can take some weight, but I tell you, if I were to sit down here to stand, it would break. And maybe you are like this. You say, I'm strong. And you take the weight and more problems. But you never go to God for Him to relieve that pain. And then it just keeps going until the point that it breaks. Don't allow that to happen to yourself. Be humble to recognize when you need help. Be big enough to recognize that you are small. Be big enough to recognize that you are small. That there is someone bigger than you, higher than you. And when you do that, He can relieve your pain and He can take away the problem that you're going through. We have a few minutes left. I want to offer a prayer right now on your behalf. You who have this pressure on you and you want help. Let's talk to God right now.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer and include you in the Finding Answers prayer book, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
My Lord and my Father, I thank you for being patient with us, because we human beings have the tendency to be arrogant and proud and think that we have the answers for everything and think that we don't need anybody's help, that we can do everything on our own. Yes, it's important to use the wisdom, the strength, the intelligence you gave us for us to be as independent as possible. But at some point, everybody needs help. For whatever it is, we don't know how to do everything in this world. We don't have all the answers in this world, but you do, my Lord. And perhaps this person has, is just about to reach their breaking point because the pressure has been too great, too strong, too much for them to withstand. I pray, my Lord, that this person who now, even though maybe they've never prayed, if they close their eyes right now and they ask you for help, maybe in their own way, in their own simple way of someone who's never prayed, who hasn't prayed for a long time, but if they are sincere, relieve their pain right now, my God. Help them to recover from this point that they've reached and to be free, my Lord. They are going to you now because they have no other door to knock, nobody else to go to for help. So they are here before you. You are the only one that can help them. So help. Set this person free. When they drink of this water that they are consecrating now with us through prayer, may the pain be removed. May the stress subside. And may this person here be free. In the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, you may now drink of this water that's there with you. In Jesus' name. Before we finish tonight's program, I want to remind you that this Wednesday, the day after tomorrow, we're going to have a very special program here called Against Facts, There Are No Arguments. We will have no production in terms of videos or street interview, nothing like that. Because the whole program will be about 8 people that will be sitting here with amazing real life stories of how God has done something amazing in their lives. Be prepared to be with us in the program from beginning to end. If you blink, you miss something amazing because it will be right from the beginning. Okay? We hope to see you tomorrow, but especially Wednesday as well, in this special program called Against Facts, There Are No Arguments. Invite your friends, your family, anyone that's going through any kind of problem, because I believe that this program is going to be beneficial for them. Okay? It's been a pleasure to be with you. Have a wonderful night. May God bless you.